I kind of think about it too. I know. I mean, you were out for it was like 27 hours and change.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's maybe not obviously, but I'm going to assume you're eating and like taking in fuel in that time. You're not just going straight, right?
I for my eating like very much the same amount of time I put into my actual like paddle training because the last thing I wanted to do was have like GI distress when I was out there. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or not make it because of something I ate or whatever. So I practiced eating and I like did all the calculus, but I'm into that, so it was fun for me. But I spent a ton of time on practicing that, and I actually ate like 7,000 calories, close to 7,000 calories. So yeah, I was constantly. I had a support boat. There was two captains, a paramedic, videographer, and my boyfriend who's a paddler, and then another guy. And they were like feeding me, changing my water pack. Yeah.
So it's like the boat pulls up alongside you, and then like somebody's like holding out a sandwich to your face, and you're eating it, or like is that logistically what's happening?
I had to paddle towards the boat because it was a catamaran, so it didn't really move very quickly. But
Okay.
paddle over, and they would hand me food. Sometimes at first I would try to sit, but it was choppy, so my board kept banging up against the boat. I was like, "This is ridiculous." So they would just break the sandwich, and I'd stuff it in my pack, and then just stuff it in my mouth. And then I'd take snacks. So I would have snacks in my pouch here. I had like a water pouch that had a zipper in the front, and so like every half hour I'd have like a little snack, and every hour I'd have a little more snack. And then I had in my pack I had like an electrolyte kind of supplement that I use a lot. So I pretty much had calories coming in a lot all the whole time.
Mm-hmm. So seventh. I'm gonna get some like clicking noises here. I don't know if I can do this in my head. Do you know what your hourly intake was?
uh, it varied.
Oh yeah, so that's not bad. So you're taking in like 200 to 300, which is pretty normal.
It was probably around 300 an hour. It varied. I mean, like my main meals were like peanut butter and jelly. I
Mm-hmm.
had pasta potato once, twice. That was actually really good, but hard to eat. Uh, Not very attractive. I had like pasta all out of my mouth, but it tasted good. But then my snacks were like uh, baby food packets of fruit and things like goo chews or sometimes Oreos. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm always like so kind of surprised that. Um, I mean, I'm more familiar with people fueling for like Iron Man, not fueling for a 27-hour adventure. But people eat M&Ms or what, just like what we would normally consider junk food, but it's like you just need
Yeah.
anything you can get in your body that's not going to cause GI issues or whatever.
And it's funny because when people heard about what I ate, a lot of times people are, well, couldn't you have eaten, X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, what? Like, am I going to eat a salad like with avocado out there? Like, no. And you have to remember too, the water is moving, so you just want, and a lot of it's very mental. So some people can function off calories just from whatever they're drinking. I can't. I need to eat something, or else I always feel hungry. So and then it's like if it's good, like I always got excited when they were like holding me a cookie. So, I mean, of course, the sugar and everything worked as well, but even just the mental game of that, like, I get a cookie in 20 minutes, So that was fun too, because I mean, I didn't even know they had so many flavored Oreos till I was training for this. Like, this is great. But I didn't eat all that stuff in my regular diet, but I practiced with it and I did it.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that just thinking about how down the kind of ups and downs of I've only done races that are a little over 4 hours long, and just the ups and downs in that time, multiply that by what, six, a little over six times, and just how like trepidatious your mind has to get over that time. Whereas like even this, I just imagining the smallest thing be like, ooh, a cookie, like just it takes your mind off of the task, and then you get a little treat.
Exactly. I was like, yes. And then there was one point in the night where I did have a hard time. I wanted to quit. We had a storm for like 2 hours, and in my head, I was like, I'm just over it. This is ridiculous. And I was, well, you're not hurt. You're not. I didn't tell the guys because I would just, like, no. So I just kept it to myself. But I remember saying, hey, give me some of that Coke. Like, we had some Coca-Cola. I was like, give me a swig of Coke. And I swear it was so cool. I saw, like, I went from, like, being so pissed off and angry to, like, okay, we got this. We're good. Only 6 more hours of dark. Like, just from drinking a little bit of, like, sugar and caffeine. So it was really cool to see that kind of stuff actually work personally. Because you read about it, you hear it, but just to see it actually work and, like, the way I felt changed totally. I was like, cool. Okay. But that was it.
Is there anything you did like to keep, I guess I'll say, the demons at bay? Because obviously there's going to be these things that creep in. They're like, this is dumb. Like, why am I out in the middle of the ocean paddling in the middle of the night in the middle of a storm? Like, how did I find myself out here? But like, I mean, aside from the Coke, is there any like, did you practice any kind of mental strategy where you're like, all right, when I start telling myself that this is idiotic, I need to remind myself of X, Y, or Z. Like anything like that?
I mean, I I did some yoga. I didn't really do any kind of meditation stuff because I'm terrible at that. Um, but I had, like, personal things that happened throughout my training. Like, I lost two really close. One was my dog, and then the other one was my godmother. So, like, within that 6 month period, and I had, like, my dog stick around my board, and I had a necklace with her writing, like, little stuff like that. And so that kind of motivation kept me going during the hard times where I was like, I got to do this because they would be real proud and things like that. But I'm normally a pretty decent self positive talker, I guess, throughout the sports and things. So I didn't have any pain, thankfully. I didn't cramp at all. So I didn't have those issues where I was, like, fighting through some kind of cramping and things. So that might have changed how I felt. But the one time with the mental, can't stop because you don't know. Like, I was saying, oh, I can do this. I don't even need to do it. I know I can make it. And then I was like, how do you know you can make it? You're not there yet. You don't know if you can make it. So, like, a little bit more positive self-talk kind of thing. But that was pretty much, I got lucky.
I want to switch gears on you a little bit. I think I saw so I didn't see this on your website, but I think I saw this in the note and kind of information you sent Joe. Are you currently a firefighter?
Yeah, I've been a career firefighter paramedic for the last, when I
Okay.
started. So that's why I kept going to school, just because I started young, so I had to be pretty soon. So yeah, yep.
Well, that's what I was telling you. Like when we had to reschedule for anybody that's listening or watching on YouTube, we had to reschedule days. Victoria was nice enough to reschedule with me so we could get this whole conversation in. But I said that you've got a lot going on. There's a lot of things to unpack.
There's a lot
So it's
going
like
on over here.
it's
I'm in
like
a transition stage right now, between leaving there and coming up in February and starting my own thing. And I sold the house and I moved an hour and a half north, so I'm in between the two spots right now, trying to move my life, but and still, like, do everything else. But good.
so. I mean, it seems like timeline wise, you're working full time as a firefighter, going to school, and also trying to set a world record all in the same
Well,
window.
yeah. But it was weird because it was like I was training and I was going to school, but PhD level is a lot of writing, and
Mm.
I'm writing. And I'm a fire inspector now, so I got promoted like 8 years ago. So I work Monday through Friday. So I would train on my lunch, mostly in the gym, and then after work I would paddle shorter, and then distance paddles I would do on the weekends. But it's kind of weird. Like, the timing actually worked out pretty good because I was doing all that stuff, but it was not normal. It was anything different except for some of my longer paddles were longer, but I trained anyways. And it just so happened that the month I finished my coursework for the PhD before I started my dissertation was the month that I had a cross. So I was finished with my coursework. I focused solely on the crossing, and right when I got done, I started my dissertation. So it was like really cool timing. I don't know. I got lucky. It was definitely a lot to do at once, but I'm used to doing a lot at once, so it wasn't like anything abnormal. But now when I think about it, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do that again. But not like that.
Were you, I know I'm this way, at least growing up. Like, I wanted to do everything. Like, I had to be busy. Like, if I'm not busy, I'm like, I start going out of my mind. You gotta take downtime, but if I don't have something going on or a variety of things going on, like, I just get, I don't know if it's dull or bored or anxious or what it is, but are you like that?
I, I don't know. I don't try to have things going on. They just happen. I just go with them because I'm having fun. So, like, I plan to move an hour and a half north of South Florida so I can like get away from the chaotic mess down there, so I can kind of chill out more and focus more like what I'm doing with the company and also myself because I really want to like train to see how fast I can get like for real now. When I'm not working full time because I never have had that opportunity where I can do with that. Um, but then like the more time, so I was gonna try to take off like 6 months after I leave the fire department to just chill and surf and do anything like I never have. And then the more I stop doing stuff, like the more stuff comes to do. So I'm like, oh, like this opportunity came and that opportunity came, and I'm like, oh gosh, and it's fun. The stuff is fun, so I don't want to turn it down. So then I just wind up getting busy. Like my whole year next year is booked to like September, pretty much.
You just have like your calendar is just like
It's just
blacked out dates the whole way through.
like where's all this stuff coming from? But that's cool.
I mean, I guess when you do unique things and people want your attention or know that you're qualified for things, and people kind of come out of the woodwork and find you and say, "Hey, come do this."
But it's fun though. I like it, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Um, so with your new venture, I think I saw you're working on like, and feel free to correct me, obviously. You're
Mhm.
working on like high performance nutrition for, I'll say, athletic professions, firefighters, police officers, that kind of thing.
Right, yeah. So I created a company called Tactical Athlete Nutrition, and basically it's high performance for like firefighters. But they obviously, there's some companies that focus solely on performance, but there's really not too many at all that do anything with nutrition. And just being around the guys and seeing where a lot of the issues are, um, I really wanted to apply what I've learned from my education, but also being with them and seeing them. Uh, and hopefully I'll be able to help them out. But I think it's going to be great. I've had a lot of awesome feedback so far and interest just by saying stuff. I'm already like interfering on my 6 month break, but I'm excited about it. So we'll see where it goes. I think I want to. The way I look at it is, these guys, and I'm just looking at from the firefighter standpoint right now, but it's similar throughout police and military and everything too. They are like professional athletes. They do need to perform as well. Fortunately, it doesn't happen like that when they get in because they don't have the tools to help them, and they don't know. Like an NFL player, they play football professionally. They come on the team to play football. They are like, here you go play. They have nutritionists. They have physical therapists, mental health people. They have all those tools to help them out, and they can perform at their highest. Our guys, unfortunately, they don't, and they don't know, and it's not their job to know this stuff. So I'm trying to change the outlook because the professions they're suffering so much heart attack, cardiovascular disease. They've got a ton of mental health things, more and more so, like everybody these days. But just in general, and it's all because they don't have the tools. So I'm just gonna try to really push the education and things like that, and get people to realize that these guys need that. They're not signing like multi-million-dollar deals. They're just public servants trying to help out people. Like, let's help them too. So that's where I'm going with it, and it seems to be very well perceived. But yeah.
So I really don't know, what like life in a firehouse looks like. I assume that it's a lot of hurry up and wait, and then like waiting for crisis to strike essentially. Um, so like how does I guess how does nutrition for those guys, does it differ from athletes, or is it just trying to apply the similar kind of ideas to them?
Sorry, you broke up that first part.
That's okay.
Try.
So when like when you're trying to design like a nutrition plan or food for the guys in Firehouse, does it do they is there something special about what they need, or is it like trying to apply similar principle as you would to like that NFL player onto the firemen?
I think first of all, it's I want to apply all individual standpoints, like individualization for each person, including their after shift stuff. Because obviously, because if they're not eating right on shift, then what's it going to do on shift? But the problem isn't necessarily first what to apply right away. It's what they're doing currently. And when South Florida is real busy. So like I come from a fire department that they're not really waiting because they can't wait because they're getting calls left and right. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they get real hungry, and a lot of times they just grab donuts or grab junk, and it might be 2 or 3 in the morning, or and the sleep cycle's off, which obviously affects a whole bunch of other things too. So supplying them with the education of maybe what not to do, how to exchange it, and then get into individualized plans, see where they're at individually. Because I don't know, like if you follow your own nutrition and everything, I'm sure kind of maybe sometimes. Like
I'm always working on like trying to better what I'm doing.
yeah.
But yeah.
A lot of times what I find like with the individual I work with some clients now with a company called Paddle Monster, a lot of paddle athletes. But when you first just start to point out numbers to them or where they think they're at, and even with myself, it's like shocking, where you think you're at to perform and where you're actually at until you actually get it down kind of, and still even then you're kind of wacky sometimes. It's like way off, so even just getting them at first to realize where we're at, why this is happening, things like that, and how we can fix it, that's kind of where I have to start. And then implementing things will be all individual, because each person is different. I think it also, that's why I like to really work one-on-one with people. I don't do any kind of like, some people sell like, I don't even know, like plans that everybody can sign up for or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I won't do that. I won't do it. I just won't do it because I just want to get to know the person, see what they're doing, and everything every day changes. So if you have a goal, even as an athlete, you're going to eat different on your off days than you are on your, training days, and you are on paper week, and you are, so it's always changing. And I'm feeling like that's how I'm getting good results with my athletes now, is by just continually seeing, and people have patterns too. So that's good. But, that's why I don't want to have any kind of generalized plan. So that's what I want to do for them. I think they need it real bad.